Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Castlevania II, Simon's Quest. But in this case it is Tiger Mouse's quest. And he's trying to save his brother Monki Rat from the curse that was bestowed upon him when he defeated Dracula in Castlevania IV. Which was basically a retelling of Castlevania I, so it all makes sense. But here, last we left off in the town of Veros, which is apparently Romanian for red, so it's keeping with that Eastern European flavor, you know, the Draculas from Transylvania, so. And here in Dabby's Path, we have a level of 2 here, so we will get experience from the monsters in this area. Speaking of monsters, we have these new eye monsters. They're kind of annoying because they home in on you. And if you're on a ladder or steps, when they hit you, they'll knock you off. So that's why sometimes you want to jump before you start climbing steps to lure out any of those eyes. Now the eyes are kind of annoying, but they're not as annoying as these bats. The bats, they move in a really weird pattern. They go up and down, so they can be troublesome. It's pretty interesting in this game. You have knights with spears and armor, and then you have skeletons with swords, but the toughest enemies are always, you know, simple bats and gonna get spiders in the next screen. Yeah, the animals are tougher than the knights and stuff, so actual things with weapons. Speaking of weapons, we just picked up another sub-weapon there, the Sacred Flame. Apparently it's supposed to do 7 damage on contact, but I don't think that's right, because it doesn't need to hurt enemies too bad. But it is useful because, one, it does damage over time, and it does a lot of damage over time because one of the properties of the Sacred Flame is it stun locks an enemy, similar to how the Holy Water stun locked enemies in Castlevania 1. That's what the Sacred Flame does. It basically makes Dracula cake in this game. So, to replenish Earth, kneel by the lake with a blue crystal. We don't have a blue crystal, but we will be getting one shortly in the next town, Aljiba. We were told in the town of Veros earlier that we had a friend waiting for us in the town of Aljiba, and that's one of actually the few clues that a villager gives that is actually true. So we're going to find a friend over here in Aljiba who will exchange his blue crystal for our white crystal. So he's getting a bum deal because the blue crystal can do everything the white crystal can do and more. So blue crystal is the second level of crystal. There'll be a third crystal, the red crystal, which will likewise be able to do everything the blue crystal does. Very similar to the daggers. We have 3 levels of daggers, regular, silver, and gold. So, and each is a progressive step up, is a better weapon. So here in town of Aljiba, we're going to head to the top because that's where the villager who will exchange his white crystal with his blue crystal is going to be. Fortunately, we arrived here at night, so none of the villagers are going to be out, but we're going to have these zombies to deal with, and that'll be okay because we want to have at least 100 hearts to buy 2 things in this village. We want to be able to buy laurels. Those are the things that give us invincibility, because once you finish this area over here, we're going to eventually want to backtrack back to Jova, the initial town we were started in, and head to the west. And we're going to have to pass through that marsh. Remember, it said there was a marsh there. The laurels will be good for getting through the marsh because laurels give you invincibility. And one of the villagers here is going to let us know that laurels will protect us from the poisonous marsh. So sometimes the villagers don't spawn right away, so we're just going to have to walk back and forth. Hopefully they spawn. And here we go. We have this guy. He looks like he's kind of in a suit of armor. Those are the guys who do crystal exchanges. So he will exchange a white crystal for a blue one. And now we can use that blue crystal to go back to that lake and free it. So now the dead river waits to have its curse broken. The heart, we learned earlier, breaks the curse. So laurel will protect you from the poison marsh. So we're going to buy some laurels over here, so that when we do have to go through the poison marsh later, we will be protected. So clues to Dracula's riddle are in Rover Mansion. That's correct. There'll be clues in every mansion except for the last mansion, the Yuba Mansion. And there's going to be a few clues scattered around the overworld. So let's head on down this way. We're going to get some laurels here. This is where the laurel cellar is. If you don't have 100 hearts, you probably want to buy the garlic first. So But we have over 100 hearts, so we're going to buy the laurels and the garlic. So we can always return back here later to buy laurels when we do some heart farming in the next mansion, Rover Mansion. Because we can now get to Rover Mansion now that we have the blue crystal. That clue told us we kneel by the lake with the blue crystal and, clear Earth. So clues to Dracula's riddle are in the Veros Woods. Okay, well, we got that one earlier. Let's head over this way here. Buy some garlic. It has special powers. It does. It can deal a little bit of damage to enemies, and it can also stun lock enemies. But mainly, the main use of garlic in this playthrough is going to be to summon different individuals. So let's get over here. Here's where we're going to, I believe the garlic cellar is down here. Let's head on down. There we go. Let's talk with this merchant. Will you buy some garlic? Yes, we will. Because we're going to use that garlic later on to summon someone in a graveyard to get a silk bag. Right now we can only have 4 garlics and 4 laurels. With the silk bag we can double that to 8 and 8. But the first stranger we're going to summon is going to be right to the east over here in Camilla Cemetery. So a clue in Rover Mansion will basically tell us that garlic summons a stranger. So it's a little late, but we're just going to kind of sequence break, I guess, and get that clue right now. But yeah, if we use the garlic in Camilla Cemetery, we will summon someone who will give us a new weapon. So an old gypsy holds a diamond in front of Deborah's Cliff. So Deborah's Cliff is a structure, a landmark to the far west, and somebody there does have a diamond for us. It's another sub-weapon. So Dracula's eyeball breaks the curse. What Dracula's eyeball does is allows you to see hidden breakable blocks. So we'll be able to see like where the clues are in the mansions, but I'm going to be pointing out what all those are, both in the mansions and in the overworld, so not necessary. But if you're playing for the first time, not using a walkthrough, it's a good thing to do. So here's what our dagger does. We throw it and it deals 2 points of damage. It doesn't cost any hearts to use, so that's pretty good. And we have Camilla Cemetery, and the level cap here is 6, and that's because if we go there's a little passageway here that we can't, that jump is too high to make, but if we go all the way to the, if we were able to go one screen over, we'd be at the final mansion, the Rover Mansion. So, yeah, the game kind of wraps around, if you look at the map. So, we want to use our garlic here, and that'll summon this stranger. And this stranger here will give us a silver knife to save our neck. Silver knife, a little bit stronger. It does 4 points of damage, and travels a little bit further than the regular dagger. It can also pass through enemies. The only drawback is it does use a heart to each time you throw a dagger, so it actually does use some weaponry. I didn't mention this earlier, but the Sacred Flame also uses 1 heart to use. So, but there we just use the dagger there, and I'll pull out the silver dagger later and use it, so we'll get some use out of it. It'll be good because there'll be a few areas in Rover Mansion that we're going to be heading to here, where a whip is not going to be long enough to reach enemies hiding in a platform. So let's show what the silver dagger does. It travels a little bit further, does a little bit more damage, and it can actually pass through enemies, so it can hit several enemies in a row. So we'll put back our holy water, head down this lower path here, and this is going to take us to Yuba Lake, I believe. And that is the lake where that clue told us to use the crystal to replenish Earth. So this is our lower road here. It's not too tricky on our way over here, but on our way back from Rover Mansion, it'll be a little bit trickier because we're going to have to take the lower route here where there's water. Right now we can avoid that lower route there and some tricky jumps onto those moving platforms by just taking the top route here and just dropping down. But so here at Yuba Lake, we take that blue crystal and do like the clue said and kneel at the edge, and eventually it will reveal a hidden path. So we want to make sure we go to the right here, because if you try to go down those steps and then jump over, you'll hit your head on the platform and you'll take a dive. And unfortunately, tiger mouse here can't swim. So Rover Mansion is pretty straightforward, actually. If you head up there, it's just a big, long, roundabout way. and it's a sneaky, it's not necessary. You just head over to here to the right, and there's a false wall here that our holy water exposes. And here's where the dagger or the silver dagger come in handy, because our whip can't really cross that that little block of water there. So the dagger, we can throw it across, and that will cross and hit the skeletons, making it safe for us to jump. So we want to be careful here when we jump, because this platform here, this moving platform, can push us into the water. Once again, remember, tiger mouse can't swim. Everywhere there's these grates, it's a false floor. So, yeah, we want to jump over them. You see the skeletons turning back at each grate? Yeah. If we fall down, we're going to land in spikes. The spikes aren't instant defeat, but they do take off a lot of damage, so we'll be safe here. The heart, that clue just told us that the heart breaks Dracula's curse. That refers to the curse on the river. So it's we're basically going to have to use the heart to break the curse on the river. And remember, when we if we break the curse, we'll rule Bram's mansion. Put all those clues together if they were properly translated. We use the heart at the coast river, and that'll get us to Bram's mansion, the third mansion. But for now, let's just focus on Rover Mansion here. We got our oak stake there, so now we can just head on up this section here. We got some tricky platforming to do up here, but otherwise, not much left to this mansion. The piece of Dracula, the relic of Dracula in this mansion is going to be the heart. So that'll be important, because when we do that backtracking back to the town of Jova and we head to the west to the marsh, beyond the marsh is the dead river, the cursed river. We're going to need the heart, of course, to break that curse. So some more knights here with spears who are weaker than the or less deadly than the spiders. They take more hits. But now this platform here is a little tricky. We're going to go all the way over to the edge and then make our jump. If we don't go all the way to the edge, we're going to kind of jump and hit our head, and we'll just fall back down to that area where the knights are. So I think it's pretty neat here. We're in a mansion by the lake, and there's a little lake up there at the top. So garlic in the graveyard summons a stranger. So yeah, that's a clue, I guess, to summon the stranger with the silver knife in Camilla's cemetery. And also, there's going to be another graveyard later on, and we can use the garlic there to summon an individual who has the silk bag. Silk bag, like I said, doubles our capacity for laurels and garlic from 4 to 8. Use our oak stake here, and we can get the second of Dracula's relics, his heart. So, once again, they spell things wrong. We now possess Dracula's heart. It's weird, because in other areas they when they spell possess right. So, but we bumped our head there, but luckily we didn't fall down too far, and there's no enemy waiting for us at the bottom. So now we have a level cap of 2 here in Rover Mansion. So it'll be good to, of course, because time doesn't pass in the mansions, to just farm up here some enemies, get a whole bunch of hearts, because later on we're going to want to buy, a few towns later, we're going to want to buy our next whip upgrade, the Morning Star. That's going to cost us 200 hearts. So just drop down here. Careful when you drop down. As soon as you drop down, there'll be a knight there on the right. So you'll never land on the knight, but if you just wait there, he will hit you. So be careful and take him out. It's kind of tough to use your sub-weapons on the staircases, because you have to hit up and attack at the same time, but a lot of times the input for up will make you start walking up the steps. So if you see me kind of like dancing on the steps, I'm trying to throw a sub-weapon, and like I said, sometimes it's a little hard to do that, but alright, so let's head over this way. Once again, use our dagger to clear out the pathway here for these skeletons. See, these skeletons are walking a little bit faster. Remember, the faster moving skeletons, they throw the bones, so that hit you, and if they land on the ground, they'll cause a little flame. So here's where we're going to do our level grinding. We just walk over here a little bit, and we can summon these skeletons back and forth. And hey, that was really quick. I didn't even have to fast forward. So we got our level. We're now at level 2, so no more experience here, but we can still get a little bit of hearts. So We'll just kill a few of these enemies, get their hearts, and then we'll head back, head out of here. Now we got a lot of backtracking to do here. We're gonna have to go backtrack all the way to the town of Jova, the initial town that we started in. But that's okay because there was that split at Varus's path, at Debbie's path, and we didn't get to see all the upper path because we took the lower path with the town of Varus. So we'll get to see the rest of the upper path, the upper part of Dabby's path. So be careful with these jumps here. You don't want to bump your head on the ceiling. Dunk, and we're safe. Speaking of jumping, a lot of times you'll notice that when I do a long jump, I'll whip. When you jump and whip, it actually it kind of makes you float in the air a little bit, so you get a little bit of extra extension horizontally on your jumps, which is really good in an upcoming area later on. There'll be some moving blocks that we got to jump from, and being able to whip in the air will, like I said, extend our jumps and make just those jumps a little bit easier. So those cobwebs have a really weird hitbox. Sometimes you can destroy them with your whip, sometimes you can't. It's usually better just to try to avoid them, but I tried to whip it there because it looked like it was coming right at me. But so here's where we got the Sacred Flame a little bit earlier. And our next screen is where we took the lower path of Dabby's path here. But now we're going to take the upper path, so, and that'll take us into the Varus Woods, and then back to Berkeley Mansion. So, I mean the Dennis Woods here, so the Jova Woods are a little bit later, so. But more skeletons and spiders. Yep, we didn't see the screen earlier, but, or this screen here, so. Yeah, overall it's a little bit confusing, but you can always tell when you're in the woods because they always have a tree background. So, yeah, the backgrounds are pretty nice. So, if you do happen to fall down those marsh there, that platform that I just landed on, that can be destroyed by holy water, so you're not stuck there. So, you don't necessarily have to go back through the marsh. So, here's back to our first mansion, Berkeley Mansion. That's where we got the rib. And now we're back here in the Varus Woods. We're going to head over to the Eastern Bridge here in a little bit. Now I see the skeletons taking a little bit more. They're taking 2 uses of holy water to defeat, because remember at night enemies get a little bit stronger, but as a reward for that they'll also drop larger hearts. So these skeletons are dropping half hearts, if you noticed, where in the daytime they're only dropping the tiny hearts. So we get a little bit more money. So here we're back on the Eastern Bridge, which means you only have this screen and another to get to the town of Jova, the initial starting town. When you make these jumps, if you whip while you're jumping, you'll take out the mermen who pop out, and they won't be a problem. If the mermen stick around long enough, they'll shoot fireballs at you. So, and the fireballs, of course, can not do a lot of damage, but the main problem with the fireballs is they can knock you back into the water. And once again, remember, Tiger Mouse can't swim. He's an escape artist. He can escape his cage and do a lot of things, but swimming, not one of them. But hey, rodents aren't known for being fans of the water. Yeah, try giving a rat a bath. Not very, pretty hard to do. So, but rats are good swimmers in nature. So, back here at the start of the game, back in Jova, the town of Jova. But this time now, everything we got to do is over to the west. So let's talk with a few more villagers here. Oh, we talked with this guy earlier, the magic potion. That's basically the holy water. And we got the signpost here. Turn right for the Jova Woods. We don't have to do that anymore. And left for Bellicosa Marsh. And here's one last guy to talk with here. You have a friend in the town of Aldra, and he's the one who's going to give us a red crystal. But that'll be in a future episode. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.